A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Children of Israel, that they bring unto thee pure oil olive, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generations.
The eternal light. The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations present The Eternal Light, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Today's program was written by Virginia Mazer and is entitled The Root and the Flower. Raymond Massey, distinguished actor of stage and screen, is the narrator.
Yankee Doodle, keep it up, Yankee Doodle dandy. Mind the music and the step, and with the gals be handy. Some folks say that way back before the Revolution, British soldiers made up Yankee Doodle to poke fun at the Americans. This is the way they tell it. A certain Thomas Fitch of Norwalk in Connecticut, the captain in the American Army, was leading his troops out to fight the Indians. His daughter Elizabeth was scandalized at the outlandish assortment of rags and tags they were wearing and calling uniforms. Just like a woman, she ran into the barnyard and grabbed up a handful of chicken feathers. Soldiers have to have plumes, she said. Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony, stuck a feather in his cap and called him macaroni. I can't prove it to you, but that's what they say. Anyway, the name stuck. And today, whatever we call ourselves, Yankee Doodle is part of our heritage. Maybe our folks landed at Plymouth Rock. Maybe it was Ellis Island. But New England is the way we came. Josh Billings could have been talking about any of us when he described a real live Yankee.
A real live Yankee is full of character and sizzling hot with enterprise. He looks at the pyramid, calculates its height and weight, wonders how he can sell it for a profit in Boston.
He loves liberty with a red pepper enthusiasm. Believes New England can whip the universe.
Why, he's as chock full of opinions as a pudding is raisins. He keeps his finger on every pie, even the workings of Providence.
Like Uncle Ezra, who once prayed for rain. Well, Lord, we need rain bad. Send us rain. But mind you, what we want's a drizzling, drozzling, sozzling rain. We don't want any ripping, raring, tearing rain that'll harrow up the face of nature. We want rain, all right, Lord, but not a flood. You hear?
Cocky, callow, wily, opinionated, lovable. The Yankee of song and story. This is our heritage, our national character. We are Yankee Doodle, Ethan Allen, Daniel Webster, P.T. Barnum, Uncle Sam rolled into one. But if this is one side of our collective face, there is another, a soberer one. Deeper go our roots than Yankee Doodle. What is man that thou art mindful of him, and the Son of Man that thou thinkest of him? Yet thou hast made him but little lower. Thou hast
made him little lower than the angels.
This is our heritage, too. Our founding fathers brought it with them, the wisdom of another breed of men, another climate. They were a God-driven people. They lived by the 10 Commandments. God had made them in His image, they believed, and nothing could come between them and God. Like the Israelites of old, they defied a king, and with the Bible as a rudder, set sail to found a new world. 102 men and women. This is our beginning as Americans. Yours and mine. 102 men and women and a book that few of them could read. And when a settlement took shape, it was to this book that they turned for the law and order that kept them from anarchy that first howling winter.
The Lord's Son, how sing shall we within a foreign people's land, Jerusalem, if I do thee forget, let my right hand cleave, let my tongue to my palate, if I do not in mind thee bear, if I Jerusalem do not above my chiefest joy prefer.
It's true, few of our pilgrim fathers could read the Bible. But in the strangeness and the wildness all around them, it was the one familiar thing. It became the loom upon which they spun out their daily lives. They wove it into the nursery rhymes they sang their children.
Young Obadiah's, David, Josiah's, all were pious. God is great and God is good, so always do what He thinks you should.
Yes, into nursery rhymes, and into the laws that you and I are happy to live by today.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
The chair recognizes the member from Massachusetts. Gentlemen, we have before us for ratification by members of this Congress that document entitled A Declaration of Independence. I would make but one suggestion as to a change in the document as it now stands. Will you please refer to the last sentence of the Declaration beginning, "And for support of this declaration, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor." Gentlemen, in the light of our heritage and our habits, I would add to this sentence the single phrase, "with a firm reliance upon the protection of divine providence."
With a firm reliance upon the protection of divine providence, we pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Mind you, I'm not forgetting the bad things. The whipping post, the pillory, the hangings. All done in the name of God. One thing saved us. Our deep-rooted belief in the supreme right of the individual. The Puritans had talked back to the King of England when he abused this right. And in the same spirit, men like Roger Williams talked back to the Puritans.
Lords, brethren of the court, you ask me whether I will renounce my beliefs. I will not. I go further. I say that any law you may pass which tells a man what to believe is against God's law. Man's conscience does not come under your law, but under heaven's.
Who today remembers the names of his judges? This is what we remember. We remember the Rhode Island colony that Roger Williams founded and the tough and stubborn roots of freedom he planted there. We remember that it was there at Newport that the Jews, living descendants of the ancient Israelites, escaping from persecution, found a home. It was there that they founded the synagogue, loved, married, bore children, died, and were buried. 200 years later, the poet Longfellow saw their gravestones and put into poetry what he felt.
The very names recorded here are strange, of foreign accent and of different clime. Alvarez and Rivera interchange with Abraham and Jacob of old time.
But long before Longfellow, a sweeter epitaph had been written for these Newport Jews. A man named Ezra Stiles, while serving as the president of Yale University, had written their language, Hebrew, into the curriculum. More than that, the earliest laws of the New Haven colony acknowledged its Hebraic legacy.
In the beginning of the foundation of this plantation, it was agreed, concluded, and settled as a fundamental law that the judicial laws of God, as they were delivered by Moses and expounded by the Scripture, shall be a constant direction for all proceedings here, and a general rule for all courts.
This is our heritage. We are Yankee Doodle, Roger Williams, John Alden, the Newport Jews, all in one. Whatever we call ourselves, Protestant, Catholic, Jewish, Irish, Polish, Negro, Yankee, we came this way. The habits, the values, the laws, the language, planted so long ago in one small corner of the globe, New England, were to infect a nation. Some folks say it was the Yankee peddler that carried New England to the rest of the country. Anyway, as soon as there were roads to walk along, there was the peddler, pack on his back, hawking the handiwork of his spinning, weaving, whittling, contriving, swapping kinsmen.
Say, Si, how much do you want for that there bay mare?
Well, let me see. Figure about $15.
Mighty cheap, ain't it? What's wrong with the mare?
Well, I won't lie to you. That there mare, she's got a good mouth. Legs is all right. Nice color. Clever's a heap.
Yeah?
But she's got two faults, and, well, I just don't like her.
Well, what be the faults, Silas?
Oh, I'm going to be fair with you now. Tell you what I'll do. I'll tell you one fault before we trade, and the other right after.
Well, that sounds fair enough. All right, what's the first fault?
First fault? She's a little bit hard to catch.
Well, that don't make no never mind to me. All right, now, what's the second one?
I said after we trade. Let me see your money.
Oh, yes. Well, yes, it is. All right, come on now, Si. What's the second fault?
It's a deal now. You sure?
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm sure.
All right, I'll tell you. Like I said, first, she's hard to catch. And she ain't good for nothing when you do catch her.
There was a frog lived in the spring. Sing-song, Patty, won't you kindly-o? He had such a cold he couldn't sing. Sing-song, Patty, won't you kindly-o?
No one was ever like him, the fabulous Yankee peddler. He was made for all situations and places. He sold salmon from the Kennebec to the people of Charleston, ice from Alden's Pond to the West Indies, ready to start for Timbuktu tomorrow morning. He was missionary to his country and factotum to the world.
Kimo, caro, delto, caro, kimo, caro, kimo. Strip, scrub, bubba-diddle there by the rig-a-dum, bottom in the kimo.
But if the Yankee peddler, palming off his wooden nutmegs, brought New England to the country also caught the New England conscience. Out of our Puritan pioneers has come our ceaseless search for a moral meaning to life, our relentless grappling with good and evil. Melville symbolized it in his White Whale, Moby Dick, Hawthorne in the Scarlet Letter, but there were others too. For in New England in the middle of the 19th century there burst forth such a flowering as the world has seldom seen. There was Emerson, plunging like a diver into his own soul to sound its depths.
I see not any road of perfect peace a man can walk, but after the counsel of his own bosom. Our faith comes in moments. Our vice is habitual. Yet there is a depth in those brief moments which constrains us to ascribe more reality to them than to all other experiences. A man is the facade of a temple wherein all wisdom and all good abide. When the soul breathes through our intellect, it is genius. When it breathes through our will, it is virtue. When it flows through our affection, it is love. Men of character are the conscience of the society to which they belong. The life of man is the true romance. All around us, what powers are wrapped up under the coarse mattings of custom. It is so wonderful to our neurologists that a man can see without his eyes that it does not occur to them that it is just as wonderful that he should see with them. And that is ever the difference between the wise and the unwise. The latter wonders at what is unusual. The wise man wonders at the usual.
Preacher, teacher, poet, scholar, sage. Emerson was the yeast in the ferment of his time, and his mark was upon all the others: Orcutt, Margaret Fuller, Channing, Holmes, Dana, Lowell, Beecher. Most of all, his mark was upon his cranky, self-sufficient neighbor, Henry David Thoreau. One windy March, Thoreau borrowed Bronson Alcott's axe and chopped down some pine trees. He returned the axe, making sure it was sharper than he found it. Then he built himself a hut on Walden Pond in Concord and sat down to write a book. No fancy title, just plain Walden, he called it.
I would rather sit in a pumpkin and have it to myself than be crowded on a velvet cushion. The masses of men lead lives of quiet desperation. What is called resignation is confirmed desperation. From the desperate city, you go into the desperate country and have to console yourself with the bravery of minks and muskrats. I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately. I wanted to live deep and suck out all the marrow of life, to drive life into a corner and reduce it to its lowest terms, and if it proved mean, why then to get the whole and genuine meanness of it. Or if it were sublime, to know it by my experience and be able to give a true account of it in my next excursion. This I have learned by my experiment. If a man advances confidently in the direction of his dreams to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in his common hours. If a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it's because he hears a different drummer. Let him step to the music which he hears, however measured or far away.
Thoreau stepped to the music that he heard, and so doing he left his imprint on us and on the world. On one occasion he refused to pay his taxes to a government that tolerated slavery. They came to get him.
I'm sorry, Henry, but you'll have to come along. Better get your hat.
You know I haven't got a hat, John.
Well, then, come along like you are. Say, that's nice bean fields you got there.
What are you going to do with me, John?
Lock you up, I reckon.
Then I better put out the fire. My dinner's cooking.
Well, you take your time. They told me to bring you in, but they didn't say when.
Good. Then I'll fetch my notebook and a pencil.
Thoreau spent one night in Concord jail. And that was the night he began his famous essay on civil disobedience. They say John Brown read it before he left Concord for Harper's Ferry. A century later, it was read, too, by a wizened little man across the world, Mahatma Gandhi. Maybe it helped to set India free. Up this way, they tell another story about Thoreau. Maybe it's true, maybe not, but it sounds like him. When he lay dying, his friends and relatives crowded round his bedside. One of the good brethren of Concord was worried about his soul.
Oh, Henry, I don't mean to be impertinent, but have you made your peace with God?
I wasn't aware, Joshua, that he and I had ever quarreled.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me.
Out of the flowering of New England, out of the roots of our beginnings, came poetry, too. Longfellow, Whittier, Russell, Lowell, Holmes, and Emily Dickinson, the Amherst spinster, weaving her songs out of her loneliness and her inward visions.
I never saw a moor, I never saw the sea, yet know I now how heather looks and what a wave must be. I never spoke with God, nor visited in heaven, yet certain am I of the spot, as if a chart were given.
Today, in our time of trial and search, the tradition lives on in other voices. Up in Amherst again, it lives on in a New England schoolteacher, farmer, poet, Robert Frost.
They cannot scare me with their empty spaces between stars, or stars void of human races. I have it in me so much nearer home to scare myself with my own desert places.
What is man that thou art mindful of him?
The tradition lives on, too, in our language and in our laws, our habits and our values, and in our conscience, too. Whatever we call ourselves here in New England is both the root and the flower. Whether our ancestors landed at Plymouth Rock or Ellis Island, here is our spiritual homeland, the way we came.
Thou hast made him but little lower than the angels.
If you would like a copy of today's script, please send your name and address with 10 cents to cover the cost of postage and handling to the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. And now we take great pleasure in presenting Mr. George N. Friedlander, prominent Boston civic leader and president of the Northern New England region of the Jewish Theological Seminary. Mr. Friedlander.
The message of today's broadcast is summed up in the title, The Root and the Flower. We know that the ability of a flower to survive depends on how deeply and firmly it is rooted. No matter how it may be tossed and trampled, if the root is true, the flower will always bloom. We see another example of the same principle in our own family. If we succeed in planting the right ideas firmly in the hearts and minds of our children, we know that they will grow into happy adults, that they will become useful, good members of the community. Of course they will have problems, often serious problems. Nevertheless, we know that we can overcome any difficulty if the right basic concepts are deeply rooted in the child. The same principle applies to our society. The world is beset with grave problems. We live in an atmosphere of uncertainty and fear for tomorrow. But grave problems have confronted our country from the moment the Pilgrims first set foot on the New England shores and throughout our history. We have not only survived, but we have become a mighty nation. We have become a nation to whom the free world looks for leadership. The flower of American democracy is strong because it has strong roots. Its roots are in the Bible. Let us therefore confront our problems and the fears today, as did our New England forebears, in the spirit of the prophet Jeremiah. Blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, whose trust is the Lord. He is like a tree planted by water that sends out its roots by the stream, and does not fear when heat comes, for its leaves remain green, and is not anxious in the year of drought, for it does not cease to bear fruit.
Thank you, Mr. Friedlander. Our Eternal Light drama, The Root and the Flower, was written by Virginia Mazer and was broadcast through WBZ Boston. It starred the distinguished actor Raymond Massey as the narrator. Others in the cast were Alexander Scorby, Conrad Jameson, William Siren, and Nelson Bragg. Cantor Robert Siegel sang the liturgical introduction. The music was written and sung by Tom Glazer. Your announcer, Streeter Stewart. This has been an NBC Radio Network production directed by Henry Lundquist. Today's program was partly based on a treasury of New England folklore edited by V.A. Botkin and printed by Crown Publishers. Also, the complete works of Robert Frost published by Henry Holden Company. This is the NBC Radio Network.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generations.
The Eternal Life. The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations make free time available to present The Eternal Life, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Today's program, The Upwards Road, was written by Mark Siegel. It is presented in observance of World Jewish Child's Day and marks the 10th anniversary of the death of Henrietta Zold.
There is a road that leads out of the children's village where I teach, an invisible road. Sometimes I think the road stretches from one end of the land of Israel to the other, or perhaps it stretches from now to forever. But wherever it goes, this much I can tell you. It is a road that climbs upwards, always upwards. This is a story about the road in Israel which we call Youth Aliyah, the upwards road along which more than 60,000 Jewish children, brought to Israel from 70 countries of the world, march together towards a new future. It is also the story of a builder of the road, an American woman from Baltimore named Henrietta Zold.
Eva, why is the sky blue? Where does the wind come from, Eva? Eva, what makes it day and what makes it night? Why does the ocean roar? Eva,
when you work with children as long as I have, you become used to questions. That's almost a definition of a child, a questioning human being. But sometimes the questions here in our children's village are not so simple to answer. And sometimes they seem strange, pathetic questions to be coming from the mouths of little children.
Eva, are you sure there'll be food tomorrow? But why isn't my mother here in Israel with me? Why? What I want to know, Eva, is...
Yes, Yaakov.
What I want to know, Eva, is what happens when a person dies.
I cannot tell Yaakov or you what happens when a person dies. But I can tell him that there are some people who do not die. Not really, that is.
You mean they live forever, Eva?
No, Yaakov, I don't mean that, but...
Oh, you mean people remember them, the way I remember my mother.
No, Yaakov, that's not what I mean.
Then I don't understand, Eva.
I mean they live not only in our memories, but by what they did, what they accomplished. It's as if...
As if what, Eva?
As if the work they did goes right on happening.
All the time?
All the time, Yaakov. Yesterday and today. Yes, and tomorrow, too. Henrietta Zold was such a person. I knew her well, for I was one of her first Youth Aliyah children. Oh, thousands of people in Israel knew her, I guess. But somehow, well, she made you feel you were the only one. Sometimes when I shut my eyes, I can almost see her. Her fine head crowned by that silvery hair. The eyes so luminous, so alert, ready at the least excuse to break into the crinkly look of humor. Yes, it's the eyes I remember best. You could see wisdom in them. Not just the wisdom of the head, although she had that too. I mean the wisdom of the heart. But that is memory. Not what I mean at all when I tell Yaakov that some people do not really die. What I mean is, well, maybe I can tell you best if I tell you about a few of my children. Yaakov is one of them.
No, give me that. Come on.
He's from Yemen. When he came here, we had never seen a Yemenite child before.
Miss...
Eva, Yaakov. We call each other by our first names here.
Where do I go now, Eva?
To that white cottage. Dov, will you show Yaakov his room? You go along with Dov now, Yaakov.
Shalom, Eva.
Shalom, Yaakov. I think you'll like your room. It's sunny and big, and you'll be able to see the whole village from it. It's on the second floor.
The second floor? But...
What's wrong, Yaakov?
The second floor? I won't go.
You won't? Why not?
I won't go there. I don't want to live there. I won't. I won't. I won't.
When the problems are difficult, I go to see Chaim, the principal of the village.
Oh, it's a question of room, Eva.
But can't you just put him on a lower floor?
Why? Why should I put him on a lower floor?
Look, I'd do it, but... Eva, will you stop looking at me that way as if I didn't want to?
Well, couldn't we move the children around?
It's an administrative problem, Eva. We can't go breaking up age groups. Why won't he live on the second floor to start with?
I don't know.
You think you can find out?
I'll try, Chaim. Chaim, couldn't he move in with me for a while?
You mean in your cottage?
Yes, it wouldn't be any trouble.
Yes, I'm sure it wouldn't be. Tell me, Eva, how do you manage it?
Manage what?
To treat each child as if he were the only child in the world.
Don't we all try to, Chaim?
Yes, we all try. But you succeed. How do you manage it?
Oh, I learned about that a long time ago. Long ago.
Your name is Eva.
Yes, Miss Old.
Yes, of course, I remember.
Well, you remember what, Miss Old?
Your name is Eva. You like to listen to the gramophone and read books. And you want to be a teacher when you grow up.
Well, yes, Miss Old, but how do you know all that?
I talked to your parents, Eva, when I was in Berlin.
And you remember? When there are so many of us?
Of course I remember. I've made it my business to learn to remember. And if you ever do become a teacher...
Yes, Miss Old.
You'll learn to remember, too. A good teacher gets to know each child, Eva, all about him. Because a good teacher knows each child is unique. Each child in all the world.
Yaakov, tell me about Yemen.
What's there to tell, Eva?
What was it like? What did your father do?
He was a craftsman in silver, Eva.
And did you help him?
Oh, yes. In what way I could.
Did you work hard, Yaakov?
Oh, very hard. As all the children.
And where did you work, Yaakov?
Where we lived, we worked. In a room.
A single room?
A single room. There we all lived and worked. My father and I, and my mother, and may her memory be blessed. Also my brothers and sisters.
It must have been a very large room, Yaakov.
Oh, no, Eva.
As large as this one?
Oh, yes, as large as this one.
As large as the room on the second floor of the White Cottage?
No, not as large.
Yaakov, don't you want to tell me why you won't live there?
Oh, please, Eva. I won't make trouble for you here. I promise. But please don't ask me to live on the second floor. Please.
What progress with Yaakov, Eva?
None really, Chaim.
How can he make progress until he's living with the other children?
I don't know. I really don't know. Chaim, it's something out of his past that's bothering him.
Of course, that we know. It always is, but...
Where did his mother die? Does the record show?
In the desert on the way to Aden, Eva. Not in a second-floor room, if that's what you're getting at.
I'm not getting at anything, Chaim. I'm stumped.
It's not as if we don't know this child's history. We start out knowing much more about him than we knew to start with about our villagers from Europe.
Yes, his personal history we know. Maybe it's something about how everyone lived in Yemen, not just Yaakov.
Oh, Eva, be sensible. If it were a question of food he wouldn't eat or work he wouldn't do, perhaps you'd be right, but you don't suppose there's a tradition about second-floor rooms, do you? Whatever gave you such an idea?
Eva, you're doing well in your studies, but you're spending too much time at your books. Studying is important for a teacher, but not only from books. She has to study people, too.
People?
Individual people and all kinds of people. By the time you're a teacher, Eva...
Yes, Miss Old.
By that time, there'll be children in Palestine from many places. Not just Germany.
But how? How will they get in?
I don't know, but I think they will. Children from many countries. Children from many cultures. Eva.
Yes, Miss Old.
Eva, if you must read all those books, read something about the customs of the different countries of the world. It might just come in handy.
And I know why why you won't sleep on the second floor, Yaakov. I wrote a letter to some people in Tel Aviv. They told me.
They told you what?
About the law in Yemen. That Jews couldn't live above the level of the street.
Did they tell you why?
No, not exactly. Will you, Yaakov?
Well, it's so no Jew could ever look down on an Arab.
No Jew wants to look down on an Arab, Yaakov. In Israel, there's a different law.
What's that, Eva?
In Israel, the law is that no matter where we live, we look at each other face to face on the same level. I think now you can move to the second floor room. I don't know who helped Yaakov. Perhaps it was Henrietta Zold, or perhaps I did, or maybe both. But sometimes it seems as if she's teaching right alongside us, especially when we need help.
Now it's Sulamit.
She has seemed very quiet, Chaim.
Now, withdrawn would be more the word.
Oh, whatever the word. I think I'll have a little talk with her. Sulamit, you're still awake. What's wrong, Sulamit?
Go away.
Oh, you don't have to tell me, Sulamit. I think I know how you feel.
No. No one knows how I feel.
Can I sit here, Sulamit, just until you fall asleep?
Why do you want to? Why don't you just go away?
Maybe I'm lonely, Sulamit. Maybe I just want to be with someone.
You lonely? Well, if you want to.
Now, just sit here on the edge of your bed. I won't say a word.
Eva?
Yes, Sulamit?
Eva, why can't my mother be here with me?
She'll come, Sulamit. You'll see.
You don't know what it's like in Iran, Eva. The soldiers, they won't let her. I know it.
Sulamit, one day they'll let her come. You'll wake up that morning, and there your mother will be.
I don't believe it. I wish I could believe it, but I don't. I don't.
You'll have to believe it, Sulamit. It's the only way.
But isn't there something I can do? Isn't there something?
Yes, there's something you can do, Sulamit. You can believe, and you can pray, and you can remember.
Remember what, Eva?
Remember that no matter how often or in what way people have tried to destroy us, Sulamit, God in His goodness has always rescued us. They've been deported to Poland. What's going to happen to them? What can I do?
Child, listen to me. There is no force in the universe as powerful as faith. Remember, in every generation there may be those who rise against us to destroy us. But the Holy One, blessed be He, delivers us from their hands.
Well, that's from the Passover service, isn't it?
Yes, Eva. Passover teaches us to believe. The story of our ancient liberation from slavery in Egypt always gives us reason to hope, even in darkness, for a new freedom.
Do you see what I mean about Henrietta Zold? It wasn't just that she was a gifted teacher. In everything she did, it seems to me, there was a touch of prophecy. As if in a flash of vision, she could see the need not just of the moment, but of the years stretching forward into the dim future. The years which we ourselves had not yet even reached. And in all things, if she was determined, she was also flexible. Miss Zold, have you got a minute?
Oh, certainly, Eva.
You're not too busy?
I'm possibly busy, but not too busy for one of my youth Aliyah girls.
Oh, I have a problem, Miss Zold, a real problem.
Oh, we all have problems, Eva.
Well, our group, it's graduating.
Oh, yes, I know.
And the group plans to establish a settlement, a new settlement of its own.
In Galilee, isn't it? It's exciting country.
Yes. But, Miss Zold, I don't want to go along. Well, that is, I do and I don't.
Eva, let's try to analyze your problem. systematically.
Yes, Miss Soul.
Let's start at the beginning. Why don't you want to help establish a settlement with your group?
I do. But I want to work with children. I want to be a teacher.
Of course, I remember.
But there won't be any children in the settlement. Well, not for a long time anyway.
Then it's a simple answer, Eva. You don't go. But from what I've seen, you'll make a good teacher. And we're going to need teachers. Many more than we think right now.
But, Miss Soul, the whole idea of Euphalia, it's settlement on the land. It's what you've always taught us.
Eva, my dear child, of course the general principle is to settle on the land. But you'll make a miserable settler or a wonderful teacher. General principles are wonderful, Eva. But sometimes they contradict other principles which must be reckoned with.
General principles are wonderful things, but one should not always act in accordance with them. It is what I told Chaim when we discovered that Avram, who comes from Morocco, had been stealing things in the village.
It's a simple rule, Eva. If a child steals, he must be punished.
Not necessarily, Chaim.
Oh, what do you mean, not necessarily? Stealing is a serious matter. We can't just look the other way.
I'm not suggesting that we look the other way, Chaim.
Well, you seem very calm about it, I'll say that.
Does it help to get excited about it?
It's easier for you to say that than for me, Eva. I'm responsible for this village. If every time the children go to the recreation hall to see a movie, something's missing...
Chaim, you're talking as if it's Avram's fault.
Of course, it's not his fault. He's been brought up in Morocco. He's been sick and starved and exposed to the worst possible influences. But still, we can't tolerate juvenile offenders or... Eva.
Yes, Chaim.
I'm serious. Why are you smiling?
Was I smiling, Chaim? I was thinking of something Henrietta Zold once said long ago. I was taking her to visit the first children I ever taught after I became a teacher.
Eva, why is the car stopping?
Oh, it's a crowd out front. Well, the police, they're arresting a boy.
You know for what?
Oh, stealing, I guess. It's generally stealing.
I have a good mind to get out and say a few things to that policeman.
But Miss Oldie's only doing his duty. Well, if the boy's a juvenile offender.
Eva, the child is sometimes the victim of forces he cannot control. It is easy to punish. We must accept the harder task of reclaiming the children they call delinquents.
All right, Eva, we won't punish Avram. We'll post a guard instead.
A guard? But that's just as bad.
Not quite, Eva. The guard will be Avram.
That is how it is, day by day. The whole pattern of our work here in this children's village and in countless other children's villages and settlements is a pattern that she saw long, long ago. And in this work of recasting human lives, this unprecedented work of the transmigration of a whole generation of Jewish children, Henrietta Zoll stands at our side, interpreting, reminding, creating new insights for us all each day and every day. Her legacy is a constant legacy. Her vision is expressed 1,000 times in Israel's life each day. A violinist performs in a Tel Aviv concert hall. And the voice of Henrietta Zoll sings through each note.
We must give opportunities to the talented child. We have to prepare ourselves for a well-developed cultural life.
The factories of Israel hum with a new productivity. And the gentle hands of Henrietta Zold are among the skilled hands of the artisans.
The years ahead will call for trained builders and skilled artisans. Let us train our children.
The playgrounds teem with the children of 70 lands. And the words of Henrietta Zold mingle with the sounds of children at play.
Health, welfare, training, study, religious faith. It's all part of the same thing. We must be concerned with the whole child. And our undertaking must be to transform a people of many nations into a people of one nation.
In the last years of her life on Earth, I visited Henrietta's Old often, as many of her grown-up graduates of Youth-Aliyah did. It was hard to believe that she was a woman in her 80s.
Come in. Oh, it's you, Eva. Good morning.
Miss Soul, your light's still on. You've been working all night.
Working all night? Why, no. I must have fallen asleep with the light on.
Really, Miss Soul? Then what are all these reports and letters? How did they get done?
Now, that is extraordinary, isn't it? They must have written themselves.
She was ill, quite ill, but she went on working, almost as if she knew, among other things, that life does not end with the final breath. She rested only on the Sabbath, and even then she was never absent from her customary pew in the synagogue. And still her humor did not fail her.
Oh, isn't it ridiculous, Eva?
What, Miss Olds?
Here I am, directing hospitals, nurses' training schools, clinics. I'm spending most of my time fighting 45 doctors.
But though she worked hard and her sense of humor helped her, it seems to me that something else helped Henrietta's Old even more in those declining years. She saw so well into the future. I am certain she saw that some people never die. What I wonder is, was she aware that she was among the immortals? Maybe when I tell Yaakov that some lives are good for yesterday and today and tomorrow, maybe I learned that too from Henrietta's Old. It is 10 years since we followed Henrietta's Old up the winding road to the Mount of Olives. The skies were dark and heavy, and the rain fell in torrents on that day, and we walked alone. But today, as the sun shines, I know that she is still with us.
One of the principles of the wise Jewish way of life is faith in the never-ending continuity of the human spirit, striving for perfection.
We are together, marching forward on the upwards road of Youth-Aliyah. I and my children, and our mother in Israel, Henrietta's Old.
If you would like a copy of today's script, please send your name and address with 10 cents to cover the cost of postage and handling to the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. And now we take great pleasure in presenting Mrs. Rebecca Schulman, National President of Hadassah. Mrs. Schulman.
On this 6th anniversary of World Jewish Child's Day, sponsored by Hadassah, Pioneer Women, and Mizrahi Women, with the fate of countless children still in jeopardy, it is good again to hear the story of Youth-Aliyah. Through the lives of the children, there emerges clearly the pattern of Operation Rescue and Rehabilitation, and the vibrant personality of Henrietta Zold as teacher, planner, doer. Animated by faith and hope, Miss Zold brought faith and hope, not only to the children rescued, but also to all who shared in the work. Eva in the story wonders whether Miss Zold knew that she would be counted among the immortals. I doubt whether Miss Zold ever thought of herself in such terms, but I know she believed in the miracle and the immortality of the human spirit. In her lifetime, she saw the small beginnings of many organizations she founded develop into great life-giving institutions. She saw the hundreds of workers she had mobilized grow into many thousands. Now there are many hundreds of thousands, and the institutions she founded stand as a permanent, living, creative testament to her deep humanity and organizing genius. Henrietta's ode was American and Jewish to the core. Her life personified the best in American and Jewish traditions. She was a vital force in America and found fulfillment in Israel, with its Hebraic roots and culture. In his American Jewish Tercentenary address, President Eisenhower referred to the Hebraic ancestors of the early settlers, who, he said, and I quote, had given new dimensions of meaning to the concepts of freedom and justice, mercy and righteousness, kindness and understanding, ideas and ideals which were to flower on this continent. Miss Ode was the embodiment of these ideas and ideals. Her life is an inspiration to us to perpetuate these ideas and ideals for the further enrichment of America, for the reflowering of Judaism, for the welfare of the Jewish people, for the rebuilding of Israel.
Thank you, Mrs. Schulman. Our Eternal Light drama today, The Upwards Road, was written by Mark Siegel. It is presented in honor of World Jewish Child's Day and marks the 10th anniversary of the death of Henrietta's Ode. Cantor Robert Siegel sang the liturgical introduction. Featured in the cast were Lola Pisa, Virginia Payne, Alexander Scourby, Pamela Fitzmaurice, Arthur Cassell, and David Pepper. The music was written by Morris Momorsky and conducted by Roy Shields. This has been an NBC Radio Network production directed by Dan Sutter. This is Mel Brandt speaking. This weekly program is presented under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America.
Spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generations.
The Eternal Light. The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations present The Eternal Light, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Today's program, And Two Walked Backwards, was written by Marion Voigt and comes to you from Chicago.
And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and it repented the Lord that he had made man. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Noah was a just man, and perfect in his generation.
Perfect? No, it is not so. A man may strive for righteousness all the days of his life, but perfection is not in him. Man is a small thing, and the consequence of all his acts is beyond him. Only the Lord knows the future, even as the past.
But Noah walked with God. And it came to pass that God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt. For all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth.
They are mighty men, O Lord, giants in the earth, and men of renown. In their might and power, they forget there is one who is mightier, and they hear not my words.
And God said unto Noah, The end of all flesh is come before me. For the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth.
Destroy them?
Behold, even I do bring a flood of waters upon the earth, to destroy all flesh, wherein is the breath of life from under heaven.
A flood of waters?
But make thee an ark of gopher wood, and with thee will I establish my covenant. And thou shalt come into the ark, thou and thy sons and thy wife, and thy sons' wives with them.
Me and mine? Out of all the world thou wouldst save? We alone of all the world?
And God said, Do thou according to what I command you, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. And so it came to pass that Noah returned to his home and called his family about him, his wife Naamah, his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And he told them what the Lord had said. And they looked at him in wonder and dread. Naamah, the gentle and pious.
Even the babies, my husband, even the little ones, the Lord destroys them too.
Every creature under heaven will I destroy. So spoke the Lord.
And Noah looked not to right nor left, but stared into the emptiness of the sky. And Shem, the oldest son, the dutiful, the industrious, spoke in wonder.
Save only us. He spares us from his wrath.
Yes, he spares us, and 2 of every beast and fowl, cattle and creeping thing. These also will he have us taken to the ark with us, to keep them alive.
And Japheth, the youngest son, who loved movement and music and laughter, looked off toward the doomed cities, and his voice was stricken.
The Lord our God is mighty and terrible in his wrath.
He is terrible in his wrath.
But Ham, the second son, bowed not his head, and his voice was pleased.
The Lord is just. I wonder only that he has been patient so long with the corruption of men. I've seen them in their cities. I've watched them, covetous and carnal in all their ways. They deserve destruction.
Then at last did Noah turn his gaze from the sky.
No, Ham, no. Speak not so. Are they not his creatures even as we?
Yet often and often have you said it, my father. Fear the Lord your God. But now when it comes to the proof, you yourself shrink.
Ham, it is to our father you speak.
But it is true. Look, he who taught us the fear of the Lord is pale now and wrings his hands. He who first told us the men of the world were sinners bends backward, lamenting their punishment.
Enough, Ham, enough. Are you mad, brother?
Enough, all of you. Ham, you will say no more. If you alone are never conscious of sin, then rejoice at the punishment of sinners and mock at your father. But know this, my son, only the Lord is set apart above mankind. Set yourself apart and you are less than human. It cannot be else. I warn you, Ham. But now we have work, hard work, long work, to build the ark as the Lord commanded.
And so did Noah and his sons build the ark. And at last, when the ark was almost completed, there was the sound of the rushing of wings.
Birds, whole flocks of them, darkening the sky. And they settled to rest on every branch and shrub and rock before the entrance to the ark.
There was the sound of thudding hooves, light hooves, heavy hooves, and the thunder, faint at first, grew louder and louder.
The beasts come, the oxen, the asses, the wild beasts as well. Elephants, camels, giraffes, lions, and tigers.
Naamah, have you and our sons' wives prepared all the bread, grain, food in readiness?
Day and night we have kneaded and baked, my husband.
What was that? Wait! Was that the lion?
It sounded more like thunder. Look! Over toward the horizon. The sky is darkening.
The Lord sends a warning. The rains come soon. Quickly, my sons. We must judge the animals, clean and unclean.
And again. It is true, then. There will be a flood.
My son, what are you saying? Did you doubt?
I know not.
Impious and faithless, there is no more time for reasoning and warning. May the flood itself wash away your pride. Now come, all of you. We must load the ark.
And it came to pass after 7 days, that same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened, and the rain was upon the earth.
Even so has the Lord ordained. Mighty art thou, O Lord my God. Now will the children of men see thy wrath was even as I foretold, mighty and terrible. O God, while yet the rain is only beginning, could I try once more, and if but one should repent, O Lord, would you show mercy?
No, Father, no. His will is mine. Come, let us enter the ark.
He repenteth not his judgment. We are to leave them all to their doom. Even so, O Lord, as you command.
In the selfsame day entered Noah and all his family into the ark. And now as the rain fell faster and faster and the waters increased, the ark went on the face of the water. Now all the high hills were covered, where those who were fleetest and strongest had taken refuge. Now even the mountains were covered. And all flesh died that moved upon the earth. And only the ark moved on the face of the waters. And only Noah remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark.
A 100 days. 101. Oh, I can bear it no longer. I go to my father and tell him he must speak.
No, Ham, no. Disturb not your father.
But only a moment ago you sent Mila to him.
I sent your wife to him with food, praying, hoping he will eat.
He will not. He will not eat nor speak nor do anything but grieve and mourn for a pack of sinners. Oh, it goes beyond reason. He grieves for them and forgets us.
No, Ham, no. Wait. Mila is returning. Did he eat of the food, my daughter?
Did he speak, Mila? Did he say anything? Give any word at all on when this rain will cease?
He would eat nothing, my mother. Oh, nor did he say anything that I could understand.
He thinks the Lord has forgotten us. That is why he stays below morning. He's afraid to tell us we are doomed to this ark forever. The Lord has forgotten us.
But the Lord had not forgotten Noah. The waters prevailed upon the earth 140 days. And God remembered Noah and every living thing in the ark. And God made a wind pass over the earth. And the waters assuaged.
Look, my brothers. It has stopped raining. Mila, Mother, come and look. The rain has ceased.
Oh, did you feel that shudder through the ark? Could it be that we have struck some sort of land? The peak of a mountain, perhaps?
Yes. Only see. We are not moving. For the first time in many months, we are standing still on the waters.
And the ark rested in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, upon the mountain of Ararat. And now indeed did Noah leave his solitude. And he went to the window of the ark and opened it. And he called for a raven, which he sent forth over the water, and also a dove, which finding no place to rest, returned to him. Yet another 7 days, and Noah again sent forth the dove from the ark, and this time, at evening...
Oh, the dove returns again.
Still no land.
Wait, this time she bears something in her mouth. Yes, let you land on my hand. So, little one. Behold, it is an olive branch she has plucked and brought back to us. An olive branch.
And so Noah knew the waters were abated. But still he bided in the ark till he heard the voice of the Lord saying, Go forth of the ark, thou and thy wife, and every living thing that is with thee.
Land. Dry land at last. Oh, blessed be the name of the Lord.
Beautiful earth. Lovely earth. Even listen. The animals rejoice.
Noah, my husband, only you do not leave the ark. Only you do not wear a look of rejoicing.
I would make a sacrifice unto the Lord. Shem, bring me clean beasts and clean fowls for a burnt offering.
Yes, my father. I will get them at once.
I have a prayer in my heart, my wife.
A prayer?
A prayer that was born as the screams of the dying rang in my ears. Oh, Nama, will that sound ever leave them as long as I live?
So Noah builded an altar unto the Lord and offered burnt offerings. And the Lord smelled a sweet savor. And the Lord said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake. Neither will I again smite any more every living thing as I have done.
O Lord, thou hast looked into my heart and seen my prayer. Blessed be thy name forever, merciful even as thou art mighty, Lord God.
Look! Above the altar, in an arch across the sky.
The shimmering bow of many colors. For now indeed has our Father brought a blessing on all of us, that the Lord makes this covenant with him.
Yes. Now indeed has my Father proved there can be none like him. None ever.
And then God blessed Noah and his sons and said unto them, Be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the earth. And Noah and his sons and their wives went forth from the ark, and made for themselves homes, and planted seed. And life began again on this earth. And Noah himself began to be an husbandman, and he planted a vineyard.
Noah! Oh, there you are. Noah, my husband, what is it that you stand there by the vines and hear me not?
Oh, Nama.
Oh, Noah, come in for your meal now, my husband. All our sons will be there, and the little ones, too.
The little ones, too. Be fruitful, the Lord said, and even so all are fruitful, save I. I am old, troubled by yesterday's dying.
Ah, no.
Oh, go now. I will come soon, Nama.
Very well, my husband.
And still Noah stood, and though he felt thirst, he moved not towards the well. He saw the juice of last year's grapes in the vat, and taking a gourd, he drank of that juice, bitter as his memories.
Sour and biting, but it brings a strange warmth to the heart.
He drank again, and the long memories began to waver and slip. And he drank again, and again, and forgetfulness came like a strange blessing.
It is like sleep, but not like sleep. What manner of spell is this? Good or evil? Evil surely to forget what is real.
But even so he drank again, and Noah was drunk. He forgot now the sight of a world dying. He forgot he was old. He felt young and warm, and loosened his robe, and walked, staggering a little toward the tent.
Nama, my little dove, my white one, where art thou? Nama, you bade me come, and I come.
He groped in the dark of the tent, and then as a wave of dizziness reached for him, he sank to the ground.
Nama.
But Nama heard him not. It was only his second son, Ham, who was passing the tent, who heard that call and looked within.
Father? Father, why lie you thus, uncovered? He hears me not. He lies there in a stupor, reeking. Reeking of what? This is Noah, the pious. Noah, who walks with God. Oh, but they will never believe me. Never, unless... Shem! Japheth!
Ham, what is it?
Ah, Neil! Only wait! Shem! Japheth! Sons of Noah!
What now, Ham?
For years he's preached it. We're all sinners, all the while making sure he was not one himself. But now has the pious one stumbled.
What is it? You call me Ham? Japheth, I know not what he raves about. Make yourself clear, Ham.
It is our father. He lies uncovered in his tent in a drunken stupor.
Our father? A stupor?
Yes, our father. Yours and mine. Noah the pious.
If this be true, he has need of us. Come.
All right. Go see for yourself. It is true as I say.
See. We go not to see, Jackal. We go as his sons.
But outside their father's tent, Shem stopped Japheth, and he took his cloak from his shoulders and said,
Let us take this cloak, my brother, and lay it across our shoulders, and enter the tent backwards.
Backwards?
All men can fall into shame, Japheth, even our father. But none but Ham could wish to look on another's fall. So, the cloak across your shoulders. Now mine. Come.
And Shem and Japheth went backwards into the tent, and covered the nakedness of their father. And their faces were backward, and they saw not their father. And they left the tent and spoke no word to him. And the hours of Noah's stupor went by, and he woke.
The grape? I drank of the grape. And at first, I forgot all sorrow. And then, oh my God, now have I dishonored myself before thee. How have I mocked thee? A man created in thy image, and I have capered and staggered like a beast, making mock of thy spirit within man that sets him apart from the beast. Oh, what a shame is like a knife in my heart.
And then Noah saw the cloak laid over him, not his own, and he rose. And he put his own cloak about him and left the tent. And a little way from the tent he saw Neelah, Ham's wife, with her child Canaan in her arms.
Neelah, my daughter, who came into the tent as I lay there sleeping?
Who came in, my father?
Someone came in and covered me against the cold. I would know who.
It was Shem and Japheth covered you, my father, putting a cloak around their shoulders and walking backwards. Oh, little one.
Walking backwards?
It was funny to see them bending backwards so solemnly so as not to see.
So as not to see? How did they know there was aught that should not be seen?
Ham had told them, my father. He had gone in and seen you and come forth laughing.
As you laugh now?
Do not be angry, my father. It was only a joke. To see even you can err.
A joke? It is but a joke. It is a cause for joy when all the world is punished. A cause for laughter when one's father shames himself before God. And he has infected you so you feel so too. And the child in your arms is well. Even the little Canaan laughs. Call Ham to me. Ham and Shem and Japheth too.
And his sons came before him, Shem and Japheth, their eyes downcast, and Ham, who smiled knowingly with secret satisfaction.
You smile, Ham. You think perhaps I will spare you now to keep my own shame a secret. But rather would I have my own drunkenness known to all of time, than that you and yours should go on feeding and growing fat on the errors of others forever. Let my shame be the one that brings the curse upon you, Ham. Better that it be mine than another's.
The curse? What curse can fall against me?
Long ago I told you, Ham, only the Lord is set apart above humankind. Set yourself apart and you will be less than human. Servant, then, a servant to your brothers shall you be from now on.
A servant to Shem and Japheth? I who can wrestle them both to the ground, break them both like dry sticks? Look at my son Canaan. Look at the fist he can make. The future belongs to him.
Boast not of brute force, Ham. Never shall it profit over those other strengths your brothers have. Strength of heart, strength of mind. This day the judgment falls. Brute power is beneath them both.
And then Noah turned to the sons who had bent backwards to cover his shame, and he said to Shem, the dutiful and pious, who was the first of the two to go to his aid,
Blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant.
And he said to Japheth, who loved everything of beauty, and knew well the work of his brother, and he said,
God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant.
And it was within Noah's own lifetime that judgment was made on those who found pleasure in the imperfections of their brothers.
For a man may strive for righteousness all the days of his life, but perfection is not in him. Only the Lord knows the future, even as the past.
If you would like a copy of today's script, please send your name and address with 10 cents to cover the cost of postage and handling to the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. And now we take great pleasure in presenting Mr. Abbott Coburn, prominent civic leader and member of the National Planning Committee, Jewish Theological Seminary of America, and member of the Board of Trustees, Congregation Rod Fade Tzedek of Chicago. Mr. Coburn.
Once again, we heard this morning the ancient story of the flood and its aftermath. God destroys all the inhabitants of the corrupt world, allowing only Noah and his family to survive, increase and multiply, and to become the ancestors of all the races of mankind. This story has profound and important lessons to teach us. They are summarized in the statement which we heard, man may strive for righteousness, but perfection is not in him. Elements of weakness are inevitable. Only the Lord is set apart above mankind in perfect righteousness. The recognition of the universality of man's weakness should lead us to forgiveness and compassion with our fellows, even when they are justly punished. It should protect us from self-righteousness and haughty pride. Ham refused to associate himself with humanity. He gloried in the suffering of his fellows and taunted the shame of his father. In doing so, he isolated himself from the rest of humankind and betrayed his own weakness. Therein lies the true nature of Noah's curse. Since only God can be set apart above mankind, Ham must be set apart below mankind, less than human, a slave. The slave in this story is a symbol of one who has not reached his full estate as a human being. He is insensitive, callous, and weak. Ham rejoiced in the sins of his fellow men and in the downfall of his father, because their imperfections brought them down to his level and thus lessened his own feeling of inferiority. We Americans have been saved from the horror and destruction which have ravaged the world. But we dare not, like Ham, set ourselves apart, thinking that it was due to some superiority on our part that we were spared. Rather, the humble recognition of our good fortune should strengthen our bonds of compassion with mankind throughout the world, in the firm understanding that only God is set apart above man. We must be one with all in suffering and weakness. Long ago, the great sage Hillel summed up this teaching in one great sentence. If I am only for myself, what am I?
Thank you, Mr. Coburn. Our Eternal Light drama today, And Two Walk Backwards, was written by Marion Voigt. Cantor Robert Siegel sang the liturgical introduction. Featured in the cast were Arthur Peterson, Maurice Copeland, Ken Nordine, Norman Gottschalk, and Muriel Montel. The music was written by Morris Namorsky and conducted by Bernard Berquist. This has been an NBC Radio Network production, directed by Howard Keegan. This weekly program is presented under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. This is the NBC Radio Network.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generations.
The Eternal Light. The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations present The Eternal Light, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Today's program, written by Joseph Mindell, is entitled Departure into Freedom, and is presented in observance of the Passover holiday.
לפרעה במצרים.
We were slaves unto Pharaoh in Egypt, and the Lord our God took us out from there with a strong hand and an outstretched arm.
Adirhu, Adirhu, Yivne Beito Bekorov.
This is the season for remembrance, the time for gladness, the hour for rejoicing. Therefore sing of the ancient departure into freedom. But also remember that freedom is a yes and no thing, not lightly chosen, not easily won, not surely retained. For the slave and the free man are still one person, with many a longing look backward and a fearful look ahead. Therefore remember the children of Israel and how they were taken out of the Egypt of bondage. In this season, remember also the man Moses. When Moses, foster son of Permutus, Pharaoh's daughter, still lived in the royal court, his cloak must have been of the finest cloth, trimmed with gold, and his sandals of the softest leather. And when he walked in the land, he must have seen the broad fields and the walled cities, but not the men and women who worked in the earth, not the Hebrew slaves who molded the bricks and built the walls. Or if he saw them, he was not aware, and that is the same as not seeing. For he lived among the masters. What had he to do with slaves? Yet there must have been a day when his eyes looked, and for the first time, saw.
Move, you lazy dogs! Fast! Or you'll have a taste of the whip! Overseer! The quota for this day is only half done. You'll work all night to finish.
Overseer, let them rest.
My noble lord, your cloak will be soiled.
Only for a little while to get back their strength.
See? Already there is clay on your sandals.
Let them rest. I command you.
Only Pharaoh commands me.
My lord, they are no doubt expecting you at the royal court. As for me, I have work to do. What are you gaping at? You also have work. Get going!
Pardon, my lord, you are standing on the straw for the mortar.
How can men work being so weary?
If you please, the straw.
Sit down on this stone. Only for a minute. I command it.
Do you, my lord? The overseer commands otherwise, and he carries a whip.
You must rest, old man.
If you'll permit, I'll... You called me old man?
I do not know your name.
I've not yet lived 30 years.
It isn't possible.
It's true. Yes, we are old. We are born old and begin to die the day we are born.
I will help you.
Why? No, don't tell me why. Only go away and let me work.
You must believe that I want to help you.
I'm too old for believing or not believing. Go away before you bring the overseer's whip. Go back where you belong with the other princes of Egypt, with Pharaoh.
Do not instruct me, Moses. What you have seen is done by my orders.
I do not wish to displease you, Pharaoh.
Naturally not. Then do not meddle in matters that are not your concern.
I have seen these things with my own eyes. How can they not be my concern?
You are a prince of the royal house, and they are slaves.
They are people like me, and a great wrong is being done.
Who are you to tell Pharaoh what he may or may not do? Answer me.
I am Moses, the son of Amram of the tribe of Levi. Jochebed is my mother, and Miriam my sister, and my brother is Aaron. And the children of Israel are my people.
It is well that you remember. For the sake of Thammutis, my daughter, you are a prince in this house. You can choose whenever you like to be a slave. You understand, Moses?
I understand.
Then listen once more. I forbid you to speak of this again, or even to walk among the Hebrews in the fields or in the brickyards. I forbid it, you hear?
I hear, Pharaoh.
Good. When you stand before me, this is the Moses I like to see. A man meek and obedient.
On your feet! On your feet and get to work!
Let me carry the clay.
Please, my lord, leave me alone. I want no trouble with the overseer.
You take the straw on your back so he'll notice nothing.
He will notice. The gold on your cloak catches the sun.
Oh, I should have thought of it. There. Help me trample it in the mud.
I did not ask for help.
I know.
Today it amuses you to carry 100 pounds of clay on your back. Tomorrow you will rest.
How do you know? Today I am here.
The overseer's looking this way. Please go, my lord.
I am not your lord.
Have it as you wish, only go away.
Call me Moses the Levite.
You're a fool, Moses the Levite.
Pharaoh thinks so, too. One more witness, and I'll begin to believe it myself.
You go far to make a gesture.
Is that what it seems to you?
But how does it help me? How does it help my brothers?
To me, it seems clear that I am not a man of great deeds. But such as I am, I must do what I'm able to do. I will carry the clay.
You talk too much, Moses. Get away from here while there's still time. Before...
Is this how you work when my back is turned? I'll teach you to spend the day in idle chatter.
Overseer, hold your whip.
My lord, I did not recognize you without your cloak. It is fortunate that the whip missed you. As for this one here, he shall have his lesson.
No, wait.
Is this for daring to speak to a noble prince? Then this is for talking. Then this is for not working. And this is...
Stop it. It was my fault. I spoke to him.
It makes no difference. He should know better. And I will teach him.
No. I will not let you beat him.
Your pardon, my lord. I ask you to remove your hand from my arm. No? Then I will remove it. There. You will stand away from the man, my lord, if you please.
Don't touch him.
I have my orders. Stand aside.
You must not beat him.
No? Who is there to stop me?
I will stop you. Don't you understand? I cannot let you do it. I will not let you kill my brother.
Not in wrath, not in passion, but in great fear of what he did. Moses struck down the Egyptian overseer to save a Hebrew slave whose name he did not know and who ran away without looking back. And Moses sat on the half-formed bricks, on the straw and the clay, and he wept. Now it came to pass not long afterward that Moses saw two men of the Hebrews who quarreled and fought with fists and with clubs, and he called to them.
Why do you fight?
One of the men turned to flee, but the other stood where he was, and Moses saw that it was he whom he had saved. And he said again,
Why do you fight against your fellow?
It is a private matter.
We ask your pardon, my lord.
Must you also strive to kill each other?
Do not be angry with us, my lord.
Stop bowing and scraping like an ape beast.
He means no offense, my lord.
He's not your lord. Call him Moses the Levite.
So, Moses the Levite. Who are you to give us commands?
I am not giving commands. I only ask, isn't it enough that the Egyptians beat you?
There are worse things than beating.
Moses has never tasted the whip, therefore he is overawed by it.
You accept your condition so readily.
We do not all have such an elevated condition as yours to accept.
But I didn't know.
You're fortunate. We learned early. Pain passes away, and we live knowing at least that tomorrow there will be food.
A dry crust.
Even so, but better than nothing.
A dry crust and toil till you drop.
You don't understand, Moses. We live. We survive.
You can choose to be free.
We're ready, Moses. Only convince the Egyptians.
No, you are not ready if you talk as you do. You are not ready if you accept the crust of bread and waste your strength contending with each other.
I've heard enough. We don't have to listen to you.
Yes. Who made you ruler and judge over me?
You must not do it. You must not raise your hand against your brother. I will not let you do it.
You will not let me do it. Perhaps you will kill me, as you struck down the Egyptian overseer. Well, Moses, what do you say?
Nothing. You have said all there is to say.
Moses went out of Egypt, fleeing Pharaoh's wrath and those who would betray him. This was in the beginning, when he had not yet learned that slaves may sometimes hold fast to slavery as to something precious. And he had much to ponder. In the land of Midian, he sat down by a well to rest. The daughters of Jethro came to water their flocks, and he helped them, and they led him back to their father's house.
Eat, Moses. You must be hungry. Moses, if you can take your eyes away from my daughter Zipporah.
She is good to look upon, Jethro.
Moses, I would ask you to stay here with us only...
Only?
I'm not sure how to say it. You do not have the look of a man who is meant to be a shepherd.
Do I have the look of a man who is meant to be a prince of the royal house?
The shepherd's work is hard and lonely.
But when he leads the flock to good pasture, he sees it grow strong and multiply.
Even so, I do not ask you.
Then I will ask you. Jethro, if you will have me, I will stay with you in Midian and be a shepherd to your flock.
Moses was content to dwell with the man and to tend his sheep, taking them through the desert and the desolate places to rich pasture, and caring for each of them, even the smallest lamb. And Jethro was pleased.
You tend them well, Moses. You are a good shepherd.
In all my life, this is the first thing that I have done well.
So he lived in Midian, a shepherd, far from the royal court of Egypt, alone of all his people, forgotten by the children of Israel. When Zipporah became his wife and bore a son, he called his name Gershom, for he said,
I have been a stranger in a strange land.
And by this it is known that Moses had not forgotten. Now, one day, at the time when all the herdsmen returned with their flocks and went to their families to rest after their labors, one day it happened that Moses was not with them. Zipporah stood in the doorway of her house, looking across the plain for her husband. And Jethro, seeing his daughter concerned, himself grew anxious, and went out and called.
Moses!
Moses!
He cannot hear you, Jethro.
Where is he?
His sheep are here. We brought them back.
I see them. Where is Moses?
Hey, you have a strange son-in-law, Jethro.
I do not ask you to judge him, only to tell me what has happened.
I, for one, do not understand him. It was as we were getting ready to come home from the pasture. He counted the sheep, and one was missing, a lamb not 2 weeks old.
Imagine knowing every sheep in the flock, even the lamb. Yes, and then?
And then, after a hard day's work, Moses, this son-in-law of yours, went off to search for one lost lamb.
You carry the lamb in your arms, Moses.
Yes, Jethro. Now, go with the others.
It was injured? You could not lead it back?
No, it was not injured. I found it at the brook where it had gone to drink and been left by the flock.
Therefore you carried it home in your arms.
It was a lost lamb.
Moses, you could have waited until tomorrow to search.
Oh, no.
It's late. You're hungry and tired. And it's only a lamb.
Jethro, shall a lamb be left in the wilderness alone because the shepherd is tired?
He plays well, does he not? Moses? Moses!
I wasn't listening, Jethro.
Not to the herdsman's pipe, that I know. Often of late you seem to be listening to something. Moses, from the first day that you came here to Midian, you have been welcome.
Do not think me ungrateful.
Perhaps I have offended you in some way.
You know that you have not.
Then why are you no longer content as you were in the beginning? Why do you sit by yourself as if you were alone, without friend or family? I should not ask. A man tells what he wishes to tell.
Jethro, it is peaceful in Midian.
You say it as if that were not a good thing.
Is it good only for me?
I knew it. You are thinking of your people in Egypt.
How can I live in peace when they are slaves unto Pharaoh?
You have a wife and son, Moses.
In Egypt are many wives and many sons.
It will not help if you add yours to the number. Listen to me, Moses. You are one man. If your people are slaves, there is nothing you can do.
Therefore, I cannot have peace, because there is nothing I can do.
Moses lived in Midian and led his sheep to pasture and brought them home again. And in the coming and the going, his eyes did not see the wilderness, nor did he hear the wind and the sounds of the forest. But often, and more often, he walked without knowing, as if awaiting a vision and a voice to rise and answer the deep discontent within him. And therefore, he was ready. Not far from the Mount of Horeb, in a place where there was no one, only he suddenly saw a great brilliance before him, a flame of fire in the midst of a bush. And out of the fire, he heard a voice.
Moses! Moses!
He answered without hesitation, as Abraham answered long ago.
Here am I.
Do not be afraid, Moses.
I am not afraid now.
Moses, there was a lamb that was lost.
I brought it safely back to the fold.
Yes, the lamb is safe. The children of Israel are not. Have you forgotten?
I have not forgotten.
Then why are you in Midian?
Because I do not know what to do.
Surely you know. You will go unto Pharaoh and bring forth your people out of Egypt. Do you hear, Moses?
Who am I that I should be sent?
You are a very meek man, above all men that are upon the face of the earth. Yet you will go unto Pharaoh.
He will not listen to me.
He will listen.
If he does, he will not let my people go.
He will let them go.
Why? Who am I that I should lead the children of Israel out of bondage?
You are the man Moses, and you are not alone.
Who am I that the children of Israel should believe me?
How long, Moses, will you continue to doubt?
It is only myself that I doubt. I've talked to the people and they turned away, refusing to believe that they could be free. They would not believe me.
You will speak other words, the words of the Lord.
Still, when they hear me, they will say, "We see your lips, Moses. From your mouth the words come."
You ask for signs.
I know what they will say.
Would you darken the sun for a token, or turn the rivers to blood for proof? Must you have wonders to show?
For me, the wonder is that I am chosen.
You are a stubborn man.
I do not mean to dispute. But it comes to my mind that to save Lot, one man of the whole city of Sodom, 3 angels were sent. In Egypt, there are many thousands of men and women and children. And I am sent.
When the task is for angels, angels are sent. Moses, to win freedom for a people, men are needed. It is a day and a night, Moses. How long will you strive with heaven?
No longer. I will go unto Pharaoh.
Then go, and quickly.
Only...
Moses, be thankful that the Lord is a God of forbearance.
How shall I talk to Pharaoh? I am not a man of words, being slow of speech and of a slow tongue.
Who has made man's mouth? And who makes a man dumb or deaf or seeing or blind?
It is the Lord.
Then go, and the Lord will be your mouth and teach you what you shall say. Your brother Aaron speaks well. You will talk to him, and he shall be your spokesman unto the people.
One more thing.
Moses, are you not willing to go down into Egypt?
The Lord knows that I am willing.
Still, you are here.
But I do not know that I can do what must be done. But my brother Aaron is strong and good. Am I then needed?
Listen, and let there be no more. For 2 qualities are you chosen. For compassion, and because you know that you are weak.
I have no more to say. But surely the Lord knows what is in my heart.
You want comfort, Moses. How shall you be comforted, knowing that your work will be hard and lonely?
I am ready.
Then do not linger. Your people are waiting.
Pharaoh, let my people go. Is this the Moses I knew? What has happened to your meekness?
I do not speak for myself alone.
Do not make threats, Moses. I will not be frightened.
Those who do wrong have reason to fear.
I see that I must still instruct you. Those who are weak have cause to fear.
Then you will see how with God's help the weak prevail over the strong.
Will I? My overseers will keep the slaves where they are.
They will be free, as all slaves sooner or later strive to be free. Therefore do not hinder them.
I am no longer amused. Guards, take him away.
They will not touch me. I ask you for the last time, Pharaoh.
I have given my answer.
Then without your consent, the children of Israel will depart from Egypt.
You are very sure, Moses.
We have the promise of a mighty hand, as all who are not free have a promise, and are not alone.
Adirhu, Adirhu, Ivne Veiso Bekarov.
We were slaves unto Pharaoh in Egypt, and the Lord our God took us out from there with a strong hand and an outstretched arm.
This is the season for remembrance, the time for gladness, the hour for rejoicing. Therefore sing. Sing of the ancient departure into freedom, so that it may be remembered in all generations.
If you would like a copy of today's script, please send your name and address with 10 cents to cover the cost of postage and handling, to the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, 3080 Broadway, New York, 27, New York. And now we take great pleasure in presenting Rabbi Nathan Zelizer, spiritual leader of Tifereth Israel Congregation in Columbus, Ohio. Rabbi Zelizer.
Remember that you were slaves in the land of Egypt rings like an imperishable refrain in the ears of every generation. We are not embittered by remembering the trials of my people. Passover does not make us gloat over an ancient victory. Passover engenders in us a greater sense of humility, a keener awareness of our fellow men's need. I remember my people's sorrows and the brutality which my ancestors endured. But this memory makes me more tender and sensitive to the pain of other men. I want to be kind to strangers because strangers were unkind to us. I want to give to the hungry because we were hungry. I want to free the slaves because we were slaves. Passover makes me want to do all I can to help break the chains which modern pharaohs have welded upon oppressed millions. The memory of my people's slavery makes me conscious of my obligation as a rabbi, as a Jew, as a free American, never to forget the underdog and fight against wrong and injustice. Moses was free, yet he fought for the freedom of others. As an American, I am free, but because of this precious freedom which I enjoy, I am obliged to take part in community betterment and liberating causes. Priceless is my privilege for being a descendant of God's pioneers of human liberty. Profound is my appreciation for this responsibility. Moses was ready to go to any length of sacrifice for freedom. My prayer and the prayer of my people is that the whole world will yet be free and safe and live in peace and in brotherly love.
Thank you, Rabbi Zelizer. Our Eternal Light drama today, Departure into Freedom, was written by Joseph Mindell and is presented in observance of the Passover holidays. Cantor David Putterman sang the liturgical music. Featured in the cast were David Gothard, Guy Rep, Danny Occo, Roger DeCoven, Lynn Cook, Santos Ortega. Moses was Michael Sage. The narrator, Bert Cowlin. This is Mel Brandt. The music was written by Morris Momorsky and conducted by Roy Shield. This has been an NBC Radio Network production, directed by Daniel Sutter. This weekly program is presented under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America.
This is the NBC Radio Network.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive, beaten for the lights, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generations.
The Eternal Light. the National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations present The Eternal Light, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Today's program, written by Francis Blazer, is entitled The Well of Dothan.
And it came to pass that Jacob, the son of Isaac, the son of Abraham, saw the number of his days on earth diminish. And he called his son Joseph unto him, saying,
The Lord of the world blesses me with a sickness, to warn me that it is time to set my house in order before I join my fathers.
Oh, my father, God grant that the days of your years may yet be many.
My son, though you be a wise man and next in command to Pharaoh in Egypt, you ask a foolish request of the Lord. Don't you know his order of all things on earth? Even as the dewdrops are measured, each apportioned in like amount to each blade of grass, so are the days of man's years.
I know, Father, but it's a knowledge that gives me small comfort. I will sorely miss you. Miss you as only a son who has been lost to his father in his needing crying years can miss. Ever since you took to your bed, a great abyss of loneliness sweeps through me with the moan of a wind caught in a crevice.
Look to your brothers, Joseph, for comfort, as they will look to you when I'm gone. Remember, they too are strangers in an alien land, even as I. But not for long. Swear, my son, you will carry me out of Egypt and bury me with my fathers in Canaan.
I swear, Father.
You brought your sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, with you.
How did you know, Father? Your eyes have failed you for so long.
The Holy Spirit sits with me, my son, blessing me with a vision that penetrates walls and even time.
Bless then my sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, Father, though they've been born in an alien land.
Ephraim and Manasseh shall be unto me.
Father, always you put Ephraim the younger over Manasseh his older brother.
And so I put you over your elder brothers, and gave you a coat of many colors that brought sorrow on my head, when your brothers spread it before me, crimson with blood.
And sorrow on mine, too. When a son is the declared favorite of a father, as I was of yours, and as you were over your brother Esau, and as your father Isaac was over his brother Ishmael,
and Abel was of the Lord's over Cain. What parallel are you trying to draw, my son?
Don't you see, Father? All are younger sons. Since the beginning, the younger sons have been the favorites, usurping their elder brothers' birthrights, causing them to hate and envy their younger brothers.
A favoritism based on merit, for the Lord would not see fit to bless them. But I do not see where you fit into this pattern, as you are not my youngest son, Benjamin is, nor are you my eldest son, Reuben is.
But I was your declared favorite.
According to whom, Joseph? If I did prefer you over your brothers, you can be sure it was a preference based on merit, and not on an accident of birth, first or last-born son. A wise father, Joseph, favors all his children equally at birth. Then as he watches them grow, he weighs and judges them by the character of their deeds. Now, my son, call your sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, to me, so that I might bless them, each according to his merit.
And Joseph took both his sons, Ephraim in his right hand toward his father's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand toward his father's right hand. And Jacob stretched out his right hand and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger.
No, Father, no. This is my firstborn, Manasseh. Put your right hand on his head.
What ails your vision, Joseph? Deafens your hearing? Distorts your reason? Hear me. Moral priority is earned, not conferred by the accident of birth.
But Manasseh is free of guilt.
On what do you base this judgment, which is the province of the Lord?
I don't know. I don't know. I only know that I don't want my sons to be cleft in two, brother separated from brother, as I was separated from mine because I was your declared favorite. A favoritism that consumed all their brotherly instincts with jealousy more deadly to the death of the heart than the venomous bite of the scorpion.
Was that the only cause of separation between you and your brothers and you? Because you are my favorite?
What other cause was there?
Or causes? In the multitude of most men's words, Joseph, as well as in their dreams, lie there many vanities.
I don't know what you mean.
Look into your heart, Joseph. Into the well of your being that you've muddied with self-pity and old grievances. A storm comes upon us. See how dark it is.
But the sun shines brightly, Father.
Yes, for you, my son, the sun still shines. For you are a fruitful bough by a deep replenishing well. But for me, the sun's gone dim. Gather your brothers, Joseph, that I may bless them, each according to his merit, as I bless Ephraim and Manasseh, according to theirs.
And Joseph and his brothers gathered around their father Jacob's bed, and to each he told that which would befall them in their last days. And when he was through with the telling, he yielded up his soul to the Lord. Our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken, and we are escaped. Our help is in the name of the Lord, who made heaven and earth. And when the days of mourning their father were past, all the house of Joseph and all the houses of his brothers and all the elders of Egypt, with their horsemen and chariots, went up to the land of Canaan to bury Jacob. But even with this multitude, Joseph walked alone as he mourned his father, whose voice echoed and re-echoed in the chambers of his mind.
And you, my son Joseph, forgive your brothers for their trespass against you. Forsake them not, and grieve them not.
My lord, do not grieve so. You add to the grief of your brothers and your sons, whose grief weighs more heavily upon their hearts than their father Jacob's beard upon their shoulders.
Joseph is a fruitful bough by a well. Look into the well.
You do not answer, my lord. Has my speech offended you?
No, Asenath, my wife. It is not your speech that offends me, but my own thoughts.
Why, my lord?
I keep remembering the treachery of my brothers that deprived me of my father for so many years.
Oh, my lord, you speak of treachery. Treachery of bygone, forgotten days. Of a treachery your brothers have paid many times over.
Paid? Yes, I suppose. But there is no payment, no alchemy that can turn back the clock. Return to me the years that saw me a slave in the stranger's land far from my father.
But there was no mirth in your father's house. Your father grieved for you, and your brothers mourned.
By the Well of Dothan, they stripped me of my coat of many colors, threw me into a pit crawling with snakes and scorpions.
My lord, You pale like one who grapples with a spirit.
The spirit of my dark self. There was still so much I had yet to learn from my father, so many dark places in me that could benefit from his light.
But that not only holds true for you, my lord, but for all...
So many unanswered questions. Questions formed in the slavery of my youth to Potiphar, my years in prison, and answered by the distortions of a lonely maturity in the stranger's land.
Was it all loneliness, my lord? Haven't your sons and I given you any comfort, any happiness?
Asher, if the sum of a man's parts were all husband and all father, then I would be numbered among the happiest of men.
Thank you, my lord.
But unfortunately, a man is more than all husband and father. He is also of his father, and of his mother, and of all the generations that preceded him.
But that is equally true of women.
Yes. But the child in the woman is usually lost as soon as she bears one of her own. But man always carries the child and the youth in him, though his frame glows with the virility of manhood, or totters with the vitiation of old age. Man is so many people. Yet, who is he really? Only dust that God breathes life into and as quickly snuffs out.
You do not speak like the son of Jacob.
Then you have forgotten his progenitor Abraham, who knew well that he was but the dust of the earth. When the sons of Heth addressed him as the Prince of Gods, he bowed down before them. But I, his seed, gloried in my brothers bowing down before me.
But that's all past and forgotten.
Past? Forgotten? Look how my brother Gad eyes me with red-rimmed fear and hate, and tell me the past is forgotten. Now he exchanges looks with Simon, and they mumble.
My lord, you imagine things. The past sits only in your eyes and on your tongue. They speak of burying their father. See, the chariot stop. We are here, in Canaan.
For 7 days after Joseph and his brothers buried their father in the cave of Machpelah, they mourned. But on the 8th day, when they broke up camp to return to Egypt, Joseph was among the missing.
But we cannot leave Canaan without Joseph. Of what good for us, the sons of Israel, to return to Egypt without him?
Simon! I saw Joseph.
Where, Gad?
By the wall. By the well there of Dothan.
The well of Dothan? Where you and I threw him into the pit. I can still hear his cry, Gad. A cry that has haunted all my waking hours and nightmared my sleep.
As it has mine. And now that our father is gone, he'll repay us for our evil.
We must go find him, Gad. Beg his mercy and forgiveness. Or if he refuses, surrender ourselves, so that our brothers and their houses might be saved.
And when Simon and Gad neared the well of Dothan, they saw Joseph staring into its depths. And they commented on the blossoming fruit tree and the damp soil that told them that the arid pit into which they had thrown Joseph was now a replenishing well. And in this sign they found hope. Hope sustained by the prayer they overheard Joseph deliver.
O God of my father Jacob, and God of my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, turn back the clock. Give me the peace of my youth. Fill my soul with its brotherhood. Cleanse my heart of its rancor.
Do not be angry with our brothers, Joseph. nor seek to be revenged upon them for the evil Gad and I did to you in your youth. It is our blame.
It is not a question of blame anymore, Simon.
What is it a question of, then?
I don't know, Gad. I only know I want to be alone. Return to camp. Prepare to leave and meet me here by the Well of Dothan.
As you command, Joseph. Only...
Go! I thought I told you to go. Why do your shadows remain to defy me?
If we cast our shadows upon you, Joseph, it is only because your shadow overwhelms us.
You mean my power?
Call it that, if you will.
Well, what else is it?
It could be some measure of guilt.
I did you no injury. Your jealousy and hatred was...
It is true I was jealous of you, Joseph. I hated you because you were our father's favorite. But I was not alone. You made 10 brothers rise against you, 10 against 1. Surely some cause must be on the side of the 10.
No matter what the cause, Simon, it is past and done with.
The past is never done with, as long as it sits like a ragged edge in a man's eyes.
If it does, it's been made ragged by my own brothers.
Perhaps a self-blinded eye helped make it ragged.
What do you mean by that?
Were not you the first to give offense to your brothers? Were you not the traducer? You exposed us to contempt and shame in our own eyes with your dreams of superiority.
They came true, didn't they?
But do you think your dreams would have come true if you had not antagonized and alienated your brothers by the telling up?
If it was to be God's will.
You, Joseph, and not your brothers were the architect of your destiny. Think back. After we returned from the Battle of Shechem, you continually delighted in telling your kingly dreams. And we tolerated them.
After the Battle of Shechem.
But not until you dreamed of seeing our father Jacob also bowing down before you did our evil anger escape the bottle, breaking all brotherly bonds.
But it was by your action, Simon, that I became the dreamer.
I? What did I do to you?
I begged to go to Shechem with you, to help defend our sister Dinah's honor, to be even your watering boy, tend your asses. No task was too menial.
But you were only a child. Our father would have never heard of it.
You didn't ask him. You shoved me to one side. And so I sat at our father's feet, dreaming dreams of emulating your greatness.
A greatness for which I will forever suffer our father's rebuke.
Then and there, you instilled the inferiority in me that would know no peace except in superiority.
Then peace be with you, Joseph.
But peace escapes me.
You mocked me, Joseph. You called me slave. I, Gad, the true son of Jacob and Zilpah, Leah's handmaid. For this and bearing false witness against me, I hated you.
I bore false witness against you?
And against Dan. Remember, once, for a space of 30 days, you tended the flocks with us?
But it was so long ago.
And when we returned to our father, you told him that the sons of Bilhah and Zilpah slaughtered the best of the herds and ate the flesh without the knowledge of our eldest brothers, Reuben and Judah?
No, I don't remember.
Could it be, Joseph, that you remember only what you wish to remember? That which will lick your own wounds?
I have paid for those wounds. For calling you a slave, I was sold for a slave. For accusing you falsely, I was falsely accused by Potiphar's wife and thrown into prison.
And haven't we paid too, Joseph? And yet you still nurse your anger. Though you learned at your father's feet, as I did, that anger casts the net of error around its victims, blinds the eyes, warps the mind, clouds the vision.
Yes. Yes, I learned it, Gad, with my mind. But today I've learned it all over again, with an understanding heart. Bless thee, O God and Father, who permitted a miracle to come to pass for me here by the Well of Dothan.
brothers did not hear this prayer. They only knew that Joseph had sent Simon away brusquely. They resolved to throw themselves on Joseph's mercy when they rejoined him at the well.
Behold, Joseph, we are ready to be thy servants.
To be done with as you will.
So that our brothers might once again know peace.
But I wish you and my brothers only peace.
How can we know peace when we haven't seen you or sat at your table since our father died?
So long as our father was alive, Simon, he bade me to sit at the head of the table, though Reuben was the firstborn, and so I complied. But it is not seemly that I should usurp my elder brother's place. Yet as ruler of Egypt, I cannot yield my place to another. So out of respect and esteem for all of you, I thought it best to deprive myself of your company. Why do you stare at me so strangely? Why don't you rise?
We are humbled by your words. Once we bowed to you out of fear, but now we bow out of reverence.
I am not worthy of your reverence. Rise, I pray you, so that we may speak brother to brother, equal to equal. It is man's small offenses, Gad, as well as his virtuous deeds that direct his destiny. Look into the well of your being, as our father commanded when I cried out my buried resentments aloud. By the Well of Dothan, I saw that by the character of my deeds toward my brothers, I, and I alone, was the architect of my destiny.
If you would like a copy of today's script, please send your name and address with 10 cents to cover the cost of postage and handling to the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. And now we take great pleasure in presenting Mr. Julian Freeman, President of the National Council of Jewish Federations and Welfare Funds. Mr. Freeman.
We are in the midst of our Passover celebration. 4 millennia ago, our spiritual forefathers brought into the world of that day a nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the furtherance of the dignity of the individual. The descent into and the exodus from Egypt is more than a simple tale of the mass movement of a group of ancient tribes and of their association as a nation in the Mediterranean civilization of that day. It is the story of the spiritual birth of a people. The transition from slavery to freedom sparked a flame in the hearts and in the minds of our people that has never been extinguished. It was, in fact, the influences of that group experience that provided the stimulus for their prime contribution to Western civilization. Ancient Israel and Judea were a part of a world civilization that knew no other form of economics but that of slavery and of land. And yet these ancestors of ours dared to challenge the concepts of the day. In that kind of a world, they took infinite pains to stress human rights. They provided means for the amelioration of the slave and for giving him his freedom. They tried to forestall the freezing of land holdings. They became conscious of their social responsibilities long before such concepts came into general acceptance. Their fertile mass consciousness developed from within itself in a relative few centuries the germs of the ideals of behavior accepted today by all civilized peoples. We celebrate the Exodus but once a year. There is, however, not a single day but that a good Jew makes reference to it. The precepts and the rules of human conduct developed through that mass experience continue to guide us because they remain eternally true. To distill the essence of these basic tenets is, of course, difficult. But I would put it, 1, that man's born right to reach and to strive for the divine can never be denied by any other man. 2, that man must never be enslaved. He must never be enslaved, whether it be by the acts of others, by his own acts, or by any of the doctrines and ideologies of man. 3, that freedom is worldwide and is indivisible. That so long as any one man is so enslaved, so are we all enslaved. 4, that life is ever a group experience. That salvation comes to us only as we contribute to the good and welfare of the group. And that only as we immolate ourselves in the bloodstream of the group do we contribute to the life of the group. 5, and here I paraphrase the Joseph of our broadcast, that by the character of my deeds toward my brothers, I, and I alone, am the architect of my destiny.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Our Eternal Light drama today, The Well of Dothan, was written by Francis Blazer. Cantor David Putterman sang the liturgical introduction. Featured in the cast were Wesley Addy as Joseph, Santos Ortega played Jacob, Asenath was played by Ann Seymour, Bert Cowlin was Simon, and Ralph Bell played Gad. Your narrator was Roger de Koven. This is Mel Brandt. The music was written by Morris Momorsky and conducted by Roy Shield. This has been an NBC Radio Network production directed by Daniel Sutter. This weekly program is presented under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America.
This is the NBC Radio Network.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generations. The Eternal Light.
The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations present The Eternal Light, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Today's program comes from Chicago and was written by Joseph Mindell. It is entitled, The Story of a Rich Man.
Brought you something to eat. Answer when I talk to you.
You don't like my singing?
No, I don't like it.
I have to stay here. But you...
What do you mean, you have to stay here?
Unless you're willing to let me go.
You know as well as I do that you're here only because of your Rabbi Nahum.
Oh, I see what you mean.
It's true, isn't it? I know what happened. I saw it with my own eyes.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it is on account of Rabbi Nahum.
What's the matter with you? You're in prison. What are you so cheerful about?
You mustn't think that a prison was any more pleasant in that time than it is today. Yet 150 years ago, in a town in a little corner of Europe, Reb Asher watched the prison door close and sat in the dark and was content. It was so long ago that who remembers the man in the prison cell? Who remembers even Rabbi Nahum himself? Therefore, I will tell you the story of a rich man. Beginning, you must know that Reb Asher had a fine house and a linen tablecloth for the Sabbath and silver spoons and a servant. Naturally, when someone knocked at the door, it was the servant who opened it.
Yes? What do you want?
Reb Asher is not at home.
And if he is, what has that to do with you?
If you will please be so good as to tell him that I am here.
I don't run to call Reb Asher every time a beggar knocks at the door. Here.
I didn't ask for money.
You don't have to. Your clothes ask for you. What are you waiting for?
For Reb Asher?
Now look here. There's no use appealing to Reb Asher himself. That's all you'll get.
What's going on here?
He refuses to go away, Reb Asher.
My good man, you shouldn't act like this.
You are Reb Asher?
It's inconsiderate, to say the least.
I am Rabbi Nahum.
And besides... Rabbi Nahum?
Yes.
Forgive me, Rabbi Nahum. Numbskull, good for nothing.
How was I to know, Reb Asher? Look at him. He's dressed like a beggar.
Oh, be still. I've been expecting you, Rabbi. Come in. Please come in. I hope you'll understand you're most welcome in my house.
I understand. It is only my clothes that are not.
I will never forgive myself, Rabbi Nahum. And yet,
Reb Asher?
You'll excuse me for saying it, but a man is entitled to expect that a rabbi will look like a rabbi.
I did not mean to deceive you.
Oh, of course not. I only meant that perhaps you should think a little more about your clothing, your general appearance. I'm being presumptuous.
Reb Asher.
Oh, I know what you're going to say. You don't have to say it. I know about the poor.
Maybe you don't know, Reb Asher.
After all, Rabbi,
I am not sure that I really know.
Ask anybody how much I gave last year. Anybody.
Sometimes I catch a glimpse of what it means to be hungry and sick and lonely. Only a glimpse.
May we be preserved from closer knowledge.
That is not what I pray for, Reb Asher.
You're not absent-minded at all. You know your coat is old and torn. You want to be poor.
No. I want to be close to those who need help.
I'll not pretend that I understand you at all, Rabbi Nahum. Well, you've come for a contribution, haven't you?
It's a strange thing, Reb Asher.
What is?
How often I find the need to say the same thing in a different way. I would say that I have come to ask if you also want to help.
Ask it any way you like. You shall have the money. Only not now. Now it's late, and I've had a room made ready for you.
Reb Asher, I hope you will not be offended.
Why should I be offended?
Before coming here, I met Dov, the tailor, and he asked me to stay with him in his house.
I see. I understand perfectly. Why should you want to stay with me? After all, I'm not poor like Dov, the tailor.
Rabbi Nahum, there is something I must tell you.
I'm listening, Dov.
4 plucked fowl and a bushel of potatoes were delivered at Reb Asher's door today.
I suppose that at your house we will eat no chicken.
When a poor man gets to eat a chicken, Rabbi Nahum, one of them is sick.
Never mind. I didn't come here to fatten myself.
Still, I must tell you that you will probably rise hungry from my table, whereas...
I'm not complaining.
Whereas if you ate with Reb Asher, who spends more money in a week than I earn in a month... Oh, but let it pass.
What do you have against him, Dov?
I? Nothing. Nothing at all. He's a fine man who gives generously to charity.
You make it sound like nothing.
It's no great accomplishment. He has plenty of money. It's only just that he should give some to the poor.
And the poor? What about them?
I don't know what you mean, Rabbi.
You want justice at the hands of Reb Asher?
What's right is right.
What are you prepared to give?
You know what I have to give, Rabbi Nahum?
Yes, I know. There is justice, and there is also love.
You are perhaps not surprised that neither Doph nor Reb Asher entirely understood Rabbi Nahum. He was not an easy man to understand. Yet both, in their own way, were pleased that he'd come to live among them. And at the first Sabbath, when he arose to speak, the congregation grew still more quickly than usual and waited for him to begin.
You are looking for something, Rabbi Nahum?
I do not see Doph in the congregation, Reb Asher.
Naturally not. The tailors have their own synagogue. You knew that, Rabbi.
Moses spoke to the children of Israel and said, "You are standing this day, all of you, before the Lord your God, your elders and your officers, all the men of Israel, your little ones, your wives, the hewer of wood and the drawer of water, all of them together, Reb Asher, in one congregation."
I do not speak for myself, Rabbi, but Levi here is a scholar.
Thank you, Reb Asher. That is perhaps an exaggeration.
And the others as well. This is a congregation of scholars. And when they discuss the Torah, what could tailors understand?
Reb Asher means to say, Rabbi, that the piety of the unlearned is not the same as the piety of scholars.
If thou hast learned much Torah, ascribe not any merit to thyself, for thereunto wast thou created.
The words of Rabbi Yochanan. You see, we are not entirely ignorant.
Then you also know the words of Rabbi Simeon, who said, "Not learning, but doing is the chief thing." And
it appears that Rabbi Nahum does not share our reverence for learning.
And whoso is profuse of words causes sin.
Oh, now, just a moment.
We will listen, even though you make accusations against us.
I am not your judge, Levi. I am saying what was written long ago. He whose learning exceeds his deeds, to what is he like? To a tree whose branches are many, but whose roots are few. And the wind comes and plucks it up and overturns it.
Again you accuse us.
Levi, how can I accuse when I come to you a stranger, knowing no one? But it may be that you, knowing better than I, accuse yourselves.
I won't listen to another word. Not another word.
We will listen to you, Rabbi Nahum, here in the Taylor Synagogue.
What shall I say to you, Doph?
Tell us what you said to Levi, to the scholars.
I see you already know.
It doesn't matter. We'd like to hear it again.
Why?
Is that important, Rabbi? Only speak to us as you spoke to them.
Then this is also a learned congregation.
We study a bit in the Torah, but scholars. Rabbi, we're tailors.
To Levi, to Reb Asher and the others, I spoke about the piety of scholars. Dov, what shall I talk about with tailors? Perhaps you too would prefer that I go without speaking.
No, Rabbi Nahum. You talk. We will listen.
This is the kind of man Rabbi Nahum was. He might have conversed with learned men, but he prayed in the synagogue of the tailors. He could have lived like a scholar. But instead, he went from door to door a beggar. Not for himself, you understand, but for those in need. It was said that he had a list, a secret list of poor widows and children, of
of the sick and the aged, of the orphan girls without dowries. For them he begged, but not for himself. Therefore, when he spoke, people listened, and just when they were beginning to think they understood, something else happened.
Oh, there you are, Rabbi Nail.
Don't bother the rabbi now, Beryl.
What is it, Beryl?
Rabbi, you must help me.
Of course, if I can.
It's the wheel on my wagon. I can't tell you how many times I've fixed it and straightened it. Oh, that wheel.
Yes, go on.
What is there to say? It's broken for good. Rabbi, what is a teamster without a wagon?
Rabbi, if you give him a single penny, he'll drink it right up.
Please, Reb Asher. I can't spare very much, Beryl.
Whatever you can give me. Oh, thank you, Rabbi Nahum. Thank you very much.
Where are you going, Beryl?
Where, Reb Asher? To buy a new wheel for my wagon, of course.
Wait. I'll go with you. Wait for me. There, Rabbi. That's all that's left.
What have you done, Reb Asher?
I found him in the tavern just as I expected.
By what right did you take the money from Beryl?
You don't understand. He was spending your money.
It was his. I gave it to him.
He was squandering it on drink.
Have you ever had such a longing, Reb Asher?
I'm not a drunkard.
It must be a terrible need. He's in the tavern, you say?
It's no use. He won't listen to you.
Maybe not. Still, I must return the money you took from him.
Rabbi Nahum, there is a limit to understanding.
Reb Asher, shall we help only those we deem virtuous?
In those days, there was a certain baron who owned the houses and workshops, the towns and villages, and ruled over them all with a stern hand. When one day Beryl the teamster disappeared, everybody knew what that meant, and Rabbi Nahum went to see the baron.
Why have you put him in prison, Your Excellency?
My dear Rabbi, I cannot be expected to remember every petty criminal that I lock up.
Beryl the teamster. What crime has he committed?
Oh, yes, the teamster. He scratched a trunk he carried from me.
But, Your Excellency...
Or maybe he splattered my coach with mud from his wagon. I don't remember. I know what's in your mind, Rabbi.
Do you?
You're thinking that I'm an evil man.
No, Your Excellency. I'm searching for the portion of good that I know to be in all men.
Yeah, you may turn out to be a very dangerous person, Rabbi.
I am looking for a way to make you understand that no man has the right to take away arbitrarily, without cause, another man's freedom.
You talk to me about my rights?
Yours, as well as the others.
Oh, then I was mistaken. You're not at all dangerous. You're a philosopher, since you persist in discussing theoretical questions, and philosophers bore me. You may go now.
How long will you keep him in prison?
Who? Oh, Beryl, the teamster. I haven't decided. Of course, he could be released immediately if someone were to pay his fine.
You mean his ransom?
I'm not fussy about words, just so long as you pay in hard cash. Are you still looking for the good you say is in all men?
It is sometimes hidden very deep, Your Excellency.
Rabbi, I don't see you reaching for your purse.
I will bring the money.
Welcome to my house once again, Rabbi Nahum.
Thank you, Reb Asher, and good Shabbos.
I can promise you a fine dinner. What did you say, Rabbi?
Good Shabbos, Reb Asher.
I'm afraid I don't understand the joke.
You invited me to come to your house.
Of course, but...
Therefore I had put on my Sabbath clothes, and here I am.
Yes, but today is Wednesday.
In the prison where Beryl is, it is Wednesday.
I don't know what you mean.
Here for us, there are silver candlesticks, and wine on the table, and fish cooking. Good Shabbos, Reb Asher.
You had no intention of eating with me. Why did you come?
Don't you know? To remind you that you are a rich man.
would have been enough to ask me, Rabbi. I would give you the money for Beryl.
I know.
It was not necessary to play this cruel masquerade.
It is not yet finished, Reb Asher. You still have your role to play. You must also say, Good Shabbos, to me.
Don't, Rabbi Nahum.
For am I not here, sitting at my ease, free to come and go?
Whatever you say about me, it's true, but you have no cause to reproach yourself.
I tried to feel what Beryl must feel, the darkness, the damp walls crowding in.
I'll get the money at once, this minute.
But I could only think that it is good to be free.
And then we'll go.
Therefore, you must remind me too, Reb Asher. You must say, Good Shabbos, Rabbi Nahum.
This was long ago, and even after 150 years, it is not easy to understand Rabbi Nahum. Nevertheless, you can believe that those among whom he lived did not remain unchanged. Certainly this is what the Baron believed.
My dear Rabbi, as long as you were a philosopher here in my presence, I could overlook it.
Indeed, Your Excellency.
It was harmless, though tiresome. But your people seem to take you more seriously than I did. You have a disturbing effect on people.
And so I am, after all, a dangerous person.
I can't have it, you know. I can't have the people stirred up.
I would not have them otherwise.
Rabbi, why don't you just go away from here? I will permit you to leave the province.
A strange thought comes to my mind, Your Excellency.
I'm waiting for your answer, Rabbi.
It almost seems to me that you are reluctant to put me in prison.
Your visitors here, Rabbi.
Oh, come in, Reb Asher, come in.
You have an hour, as usual.
Thank you, guard.
Something is troubling you, Reb Asher.
You must be a very wicked man, Rabbi Nahum.
Reb Asher.
The Lord loveth the righteous, the psalm tells me. He feedeth the hungry.
He raiseth up them that are bowed down. And he sets loose the prisoners.
Yes, he sets loose the prisoners. There's more, Rabbi. But the way of the wicked he maketh crooked. You must be a very wicked man, Rabbi Nahum.
You mustn't talk like that, Reb Asher.
How do you expect me to talk if you're here in prison, if God allows you to remain in prison?
Others can endure it. I am content to endure it too.
But you don't have to endure it, Rabbi. You don't have to wear torn clothing and go hungry.
How can I help those who have no choice if I cannot feel what they feel? Don't you see, Reb Asher?
No, I want to, but I can't. I see only that you are content. You really are content. Today it is you who are troubled, Rabbi Nahum.
How many weeks have I been here, Reb Asher?
It has been a long time.
There is an orphan girl who was to be married.
Tell me where to find her. I will provide the dowry.
And a sick widow with children. Oh, if only I could go out for a week.
It's not the same, is it, if I bring the money?
Just a week. It's foolish even to think of it.
Maybe it's not so foolish, Rabbi. Maybe if I spoke to the Baron...
Oh, it would be useless. Oh, he would not let me go.
But what if he had another in your place for the week?
No, Reb Asher. I could not permit you to do it for me.
Strange thing, Rabbi Nahum. I never thought of it that way. I was thinking that I wanted to do it for myself.
Rebasher. Your friends brought you something to eat. Answer when I talk to you.
You don't like my singing?
No, I don't like it.
I have to stay here, but you...
What do you mean? You have to stay here.
Of course I do.
You know very well that you're here only on account of your Rabbi Nahum.
Is that why?
And here you'll stay if he doesn't come back.
He'll come back.
What's the matter with you? You're in prison. What are you so cheerful about?
You really want to know?
I asked you.
It's because of something Rabbi Nahum once told me. Who is wise, he said. He that learns from all men. Who is mighty? He that subdues his anger. Who then is rich? He that rejoices in his portion, which is to say, the man who respects the work he does and is content with himself. Now, do you see why I sing?
All I see is that you're in prison in place of Rabbi Nahum.
'Tis no little thing to be in his place.
You're a fool. Don't you know that you can't study to be a saint?
Who said anything about that? I'm only trying to be a man, a rich man, like Rabbi Nahum.
If you would like a copy of today's script, please send your name and address with 10 cents to cover the cost of postage and handling to the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. And now we take great pleasure in presenting Mr. Harry I. Hoffman, prominent Chicago civic and philanthropic leader, member of the Board of Trustees of Rodfez Zedek Synagogue of Chicago, and patron of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Mr. Hoffman.
In today's program, we witness the development of a man. The man named Rabasher, from one who gave to charity but felt no sympathy with the needs of those he helped, to one who derived his greatest contentment from his love of doing good. We heard Rabbi Nahum say, in giving, money is not the only thing. It is also important to feel another person's need. He did not expect Rabasher to understand him at that time, but by the end of the story, Rabbi Nahum saw that his words had been as seeds that flowered. His integrity and compassion had a powerful force, acting on Rabasher and causing his conversion. We also can learn from Rabbi Nahum that no word and no life lived is without its influence. Let any man in his own deeds stand for the right, and he can be certain his life will have meaning. For everyone he touches cannot help but be influenced by his example and by the power of his actions. We must not despair because the results are not always apparent. All growth and change takes time, whether it is the growth of a flower or the maturing of a man's character. The development is taking place in private, locked up in the secrecy of another man's life. The overwhelming important issue of today is the question of war or peace, slavery or freedom. Our observance of the Passover season reminds us daily of the ancient struggle of man to be free, and this reminder may discourage us. How long, O God, we are tempted to ask. I believe, however, there is an answer in the lesson of today's program, an answer which tells us not to despair. If it takes time for one man to achieve understanding, shall it not take a longer time for the whole world to achieve peace? Let us resolve to be confident that the seeds of kindliness and virtue that we plant will germinate and exert their influence, that the world will be a better place for our children and our children's children.
Thank you, Mr. Hoffman.
Our Eternal Light drama today, The Story of a Rich Man, was written by Joseph Mindell. Cantor David Putterman sang the liturgical introduction. Featured in the cast were Arthur Peterson, Claire Baum, Ken Nordine, and Maurice Copeland. The music was written by Morris Momorsky and conducted by Bernard Berquist. This has been an NBC radio production directed by Howard Keegan and came to you today from Chicago. This weekly program is presented under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.